How much good erases the bad? That's what we're discussing on tonight's episode here at the Elite Thinking Club. Welcome everyone everywhere. I'm Chris Jules Julian and I'm joined tonight by my co-hosts Liz, Mads and Michael. How you doing, guys?
Hey,
Hello.
doing good.
Awesome. I love that. So we just did an episode on etiquette. If you haven't done so already, you should check that one out after this one. And also,
Last week.
if you haven't done so already as well, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and support our YouTube channel. Hit the like button so other people can see the episode, and hit the subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. But before we talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, which is how much good erases the bad, you know, I always do it. The disclaimer: you cannot change anything unless you're willing to understand it, and you cannot understand it unless you're willing to explore it. A good debate doesn't get ugly. We may talk of things that make people feel vulnerable. Beliefs held sacred may be challenged because of life experiences. We're not trying to make people wrong or to incite riot, but simply explore. Welcome to the Elite Thinking Club. Okay, this episode we've been wanting to do for a while, and you know, it's a bit controversial. It's definitely going to, you know, get people's backs up, but we just want to explore because that's what we do here at the Thinking Club. So Michael, you're the one that presented it to the group and we all agreed that we would do it. So Michael, feel free.
Right, yeah, so I want to delve a little bit deeper into, so how much good do you have to do before people start forgetting the bad? So like, just a quick one, I say Mike Tyson got convicted of sexual assault. Yeah, he got convicted of it. I mean, I can't say 100% whether he did it or not, but he's a convicted sexual assault. He's on a register, but yeah, people still celebrate his life. He's still famous. People still love to meet him. So, like, if that was just Joe Blogs, like me, I'm not a celebrity. So if I get done for sexual assault, and then people find out, like if you now found out I sexually assaulted someone,
Be right back.
Yeah, look, she's already going.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Me too,
yeah,
actually. Yeah, carry on, Michael.
Yeah. But that's my point. So if someone does sexual assault, for the rest of their life, to me, they're going to be, I mean, I love Mike Tyson's boxing, but the fact he did something to a woman like that, or anyone like that, to me, means that he shouldn't be celebrated. So what brought that into my forefront is I was watching another YouTuber, Candice Owens, I think her name is. I might have got that wrong, but Candice, if you look for Candice, you can find it on YouTuber. So the George Floyd thing, I know it's sensitive to talk about it, but before it, like, so now he's died, a governor said that his name will be always remembered with justice. But he went to prison 9 times. 1 count of armed robbery, 4 counts of having cocaine on him. And one of the worst ones is he knocked onto a pregnant lady's house who had a 4-year-old in the house, pretended to be from a waterboard. So she let him in. 5 other guys got out their motor, went in there. He pushed her into another room with a pistol on her belly. She's pregnant. Another guy pistol whipped her in the face. Yeah. And then, so that was all forgotten about because the last year of his life, apparently he had gone straight. Like the news was saying that he was trying to turn his life around, trying to give back to the community. Okay. But how much can you give back to delete all that in your past? When he died, he had fentanyl in his system, which he swallowed because he didn't want to get caught with. So he's got drugs on him again. So, and like I said, now his voice, his name is Justice. I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have died how he did. I admit that. That copper shouldn't have done that. Bad practices. Every copper has said that. He shouldn't have died like that. But if you had caught him a few weeks or like a year before when he'd done that to that pregnant female, would you have not put him down then?
I'm glad that
if you break into my house with my pregnant woman in there, like my queen, my pregnant wife, I'd go out and try and find you and kill you. And it would be a lot worse than what that copper did.
So, I am glad that you have brought this up, Michael, because it is something that I've thought about in the past before. Like the depths I'm willing to go for my loved ones, if they are wrong done in my eyes, let's just say it's not very humane. You know, I'm willing to just, you know, I don't care about the consequences as long as I feel like justice is served. And I'll stand in front of a jury and I will tell them straight, you wait till it's your family, or you wait till it's your child, or you wait till it's, you know what I mean? And then you are where I am, and then you tell me how you'd be, whatever, I get it. In regards to, yeah, how much good erases the bad. Redemption. To redeem yourself, you know, that's one of the reasons why I joined the British Army, to be honest. I felt like I owed a debt to my country because I was such a wrong 'un. And I would like to think that I've served enough time, you know, sorted myself out to be accepted, you know, to be worthy of, if you will, just to, you know, clear my debt. How George Floyd was murdered is, you know, it's unjustifiable. I don't know what the personal vendetta was for that cop. I don't want to get, you know, I don't know. I don't believe anyone should be murdered like that. But again, that's what I said just prior to this. It's worth exploring. If anyone's watching and, you know, you have an opinion on this, please comment, because we're just exploring. But it's well presented, Michael.
I don't think, regardless of what bad anybody has done in their life, I don't think that they should have their death broadcast to the world. And I don't believe that it should be on all the platforms that it was on. And yeah, I don't agree with what was done to him, and I don't agree with how it affected everybody and how we all came to learn about it. But equally, I also don't believe that because that has happened to somebody, they then are made out to be a saint, or that his death is being used, you know, such an atrocious thing that happened in front of people, you know, that will affect them for the rest of their lives, the people that were actually there and those who actually watched it. It did affect me, and it's affected a lot of people. And I just think that something atrocious, we shouldn't really be making something out of it just because of what happened, because I feel like that happens a lot. If I'm coming across right, I feel like,
no, we get you, Liz, we're following.
Yeah, so I actually find sometimes when I hear or read articles or hear the news about certain things like this, I think if that were my family, I would actually be a little bit offended, because I'd be like, hold on, they're kind of using this situation and they're saying, oh, you know, he'll always be remembered for justice and this, that and the other. But I don't know, I just think it's done in the wrong context.
One point I want to make before we go on is, you said it was broadcasted live, but the police that were there weren't broadcasting it live. So the cop that actually ended up killing him wasn't broadcasting it live.
No, and other people that were standing there. Yeah,
but
other people.
But that's a different point though. The police that were there doing their job, most of them, apart from that one, were just doing their job. Nobody was trying to broadcast it. So not like the olden days where they did a public execution. It wasn't meant to be a public execution. It's just everybody is so hell-bent on watching what coppers do that it was inevitable to do it.
Yeah.
And also, where people have watched it, like no one forced anybody to watch it after, so they have nightmares about it. Like I stupidly watched a video of two guys killing a guy with a hammer. I shouldn't have watched it because I still remember that 6-7 years later. But that was my fault for watching it. I shouldn't have watched it.
Yeah, but it happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you don't need to watch it. You just get told about it. You can still feel bad about something happening without actually watching it.
And I get that, like, he did things. We've all got a past. We've all got a past. You know, some better than others, some not so better than others. But does that mean that there wasn't any good in him? Does that mean that he couldn't have reformed and changed his life and turned it around? You know, you get a lot of people that have done it.
You know, it's tough when people are.
I mean, I don't think people should be made out and painted out to be something they're not just because something's happened to them. That's what I was trying to say. Like, you know, if that were my brother and everybody in our neighborhood knew how he was, his characteristics, this, that, I would find it hard to be watching the world, making him out like, it would be like that's a stranger to me, because do you know what I mean? I think to be making him out in that way because of what happened, that to me is a little bit of a cover up or an insult. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like Joel,
because it extremes.
It's like hypocrisy, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like when people say, you know, oh, this person has now got this job. We touched on it before on the racism episode. It's like, I don't want the job just because I'm ticking a box, you know, and with this, I feel like they're doing certain things to tick boxes to keep people happy because of the bad.
Yeah, I'll tell you a scenario.
The way he died.
A scenario may be like at someone's funeral wake. Like if someone, you know, was an absolute asshole in life, don't get on the pulpit and start speaking good of them. Get on there and speak the truth. Just tell everyone. I know we're all here out of respect for the person. No one should be buried alone. However, this person was an absolute asshole and they still owe me 30 fucking quid. Where am I going to get that
now? We've got a comment from Scott Terry, and he has said, Yanks don't have respect for power. They have a bullish attitude. It's ingrained in their society, and so it's enforced that way. Hi, Scott. I'm from California originally. There are so many videos in the US where young guys get shot by cops, where if the situation was on British soil with British laws, the situation would have been de-escalated and not resulting in multiple gunshot wounds to the detainee. 100% agree. They seem to have a habit to escalate situations rather than de-escalate. 100% agree. 100% agree on that.
I'm happy on that, because I've seen a lot of videos where they've tried to de-escalate and the suspect doesn't give them the chance. Right? Well, there's people that say, oh, you should have shot them in the leg or tasered them. Well, I've seen so many videos where people get tasered and it doesn't work, but they get shot in the leg and they just limp. So sometimes people do need to be shot, unfortunately.
Appreciate the comments.
I think that should be a small percentage. That shouldn't be as high as it is.
Well,
and in
it
America,
is a small percentage.
It is really high.
It's not. That's where media try and change it. When you actually look at stats, it's actually quite small, and actually white people get shot more than black people. Which in the media they tell you black people get shot more than white people. So it's what the media want everybody.
I'd have to look into that. I don't know.
one thing you should look into as well is like the prison system in America was specifically built to actually be on like a business. So, you know, it's free labor at the end of the day. And these owners of these prisons have people working within the prison to ensure that the rota is kept. And then obviously then people talk to the police, and the police then have to go out and
the courts, the judges. There was that judge that got put away himself.
And obviously this isn't broadcast to a lot of people. However, it's kind of like not common knowledge, but it's known, especially amongst the communities, if you are Black or ethnic, that you're definitely what they're looking for. You know, they don't want to fill the penitentiaries with white people because white people have insurance, and normally insurance can pay for bail, and they're just harder to catch basically. Whereas Black people, because of systemic racism, are a lot easier to catch because of the situation they're in. And that's something you should definitely look into. So I'm not saying that it isn't that, you know, biased, but if you do understand that way that the system's been set up over in America, yeah, they do tend to, well, if you had a commission or if you had a rota to hit, you know, you most likely want to escalate the situation. That then justifies you handcuffing a person. Here in Britain,
the system definitely doesn't work. The system definitely doesn't work. You know, it's not working.
In Britain, in Britain, I do feel like we do have less of a tolerance. I think if the situation dictates, you know, for example, you got a Lee Rigby, right? Put that fucker down. He shouldn't have even been arrested. I think, well, I don't know. Justice is justice, right? Difficult one. But let's go back to what starts the debate. How much good erases the bad? Now, I do like what you've done, Michael. I do like how you presented that, because you may find that some people have done stuff that in eyes of others is unforgivable. Unforgivable. How can you forgive someone? It's like, I don't have children yet. However, I can imagine what it's like for someone to lose a child at, you know, maybe a drink driving. If your child gets hit by a drunk driver, like, you know, that person could be good for the rest of their life, but that's not.
And they could have been good up to that time as well. You know.
Go on, Liz.
You know, that person could be good up to the time where they make a mistake, which human beings do, because nobody's perfect. They could have had mental health issues. They could have gone and hit the bottle and then gotten there, and it's all wrong. It's all wrong. But
is a prison
really
sentence
hard
enough to just, like, I'm not saying like good and bad. I'm just saying, like, if you've done the crime, then do the time. Is that then, you know, when they're allowed to come back into society, let's say a judge bases it on what they've done and says, right, you get 40 years in prison, which is basically life, 40 years in prison, then you do the time. Now you're back into society. Do we then accept them? Do we then forget about what they've done because they've done their time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one, and it all depends on.
We've got another comment from Scott. Penal labour in the United States is explicitly allowed by the 13th Amendment of the US Constitution. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Unconvicted detainees awaiting trial cannot be forced to participate in labour programmes in prison, as this would violate the 13th Amendment. Slavery is allowed when served as a form of punishment. It's in their Bill of Rights.
So again, if you can't post bail, so if you can't post bail, which most people, because of systemic racism, cannot, they will find themselves legally slaved. Is that what you're saying? Is that, yeah?
Yes.
I think that's what that said.
Yes. No, yes. Until they're convicted, they can't be.
No, that's right. Basically if they're on remand, but if they're convicted, they are.
So, you know, I still do say this to this day, and it's easy for me to say, especially here as a privileged person. But I will say that I wasn't born like as privileged as I am now. I got myself here through what, you know, my life, and everyone else has their own life. What I will say is, whatever card you're dealt, it isn't the card you're dealt, it's how you play your hand. A lot of people
100%.
A lot of people have to understand the situation they're in and do what they can. I mean, if I understood that I was getting, if the numbers are higher, if they are get my words right, statistically higher for someone of my color and my, you know, birthright, then I've got to work twice as hard. I've got to ensure that the system ain't going to beat me. I've got to educate myself and I've got to fight back appropriately. However, there's a lot of people who will just want to scream victim and do fuck all. And they don't do themselves no favors. Just want to sit around and, I don't know.
And they ruin it for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, guys, if you're, you know, watching this episode and you do like topics of discussion like this, bit deep, powerful conversations, hit the like so that other people can be introduced to it as well. And then hit the subscribe as well. So when we do future episodes, you will be notified.
Right,
so going back
another
to
scenario.
Oh, sorry.
So I said this before when we talked about the facts and why the facts matter. I got a tiny little bit more info on it. So it was that when that girl was shot 3 times when she was going to stab another girl. So when the white police officer turned up on the scene, a black 15-year-old female had just stabbed another girl and was going to stab another girl in the throat. Now, she was shot 3 times and got killed. Then the mum then releases a statement saying that she believed in non-violence, she always tried to be good. But so now it's been flipped that she was actually a good girl. But I see the video where she was trying to stab a girl in the throat. So again, because somebody has said that she was good, it's kind of forgotten about the fact that she was actively trying to stab someone. How does that work? So an extreme example, let's say Rob Harris here. We know now that he touched a lot of people, but he also did a lot of good. So why aren't we saying, well, he did a lot of good, so we forget everything bad? We don't do it. We say he was an arsehole. So why? Because this girl sometimes did good, or she could have done good every single day. She could have been a saint. But the fact that when she got shot, she was trying to stab someone in the throat, but then the media flipped it and made it look like she was a saint. So what's your views on that one?
Again, I feel like they do that because they're ticking boxes.
Yeah,
like obviously the mum is going to say that about their child, and she's just lost her child. So, you know, we have to be empathetic to the fact that she was going through, that was a traumatic situation for her to watch. You know, no parent expects to watch their child die in their lifetime. We all expect to outlive our children. And also in that situation, in the heat of a moment, again, in the heat of a moment, anger, all sorts of emotions happen. You can be the nicest, greatest person on this planet, and something could happen, a situation, and you might pull a knife on somebody, or, you know, does it mean you're 100% bad? Not necessarily. What she was doing, yes, was wrong. She stabbed somebody, she tried to stab somebody else.
No, she's trying to kill someone, not stab someone.
Well, kill somebody.
What was her motive though? Why
that's
would
what
she,
I mean. What was behind that? Was she afraid for her life? Do you see what I mean? So, like, if I went out and there was a couple
she wasn't afraid for her life.
What if she was like schizophrenic or like had psychosis?
This is what I'm saying. There's a lot.
The girl that she stabbed was about to stab. Her back was against the motor. She couldn't get away. She was literally trapped in the circumstances against the vehicle. So she couldn't get away if she wanted to.
So was this like a road rage? Did they know each other?
No, they was having an argument outside the house. The girl went in, grabbed a knife, walked back out, stabbed one of the girls. And literally, as you see it, like the camera starts, you can see her just stab someone else. The father of the girl that got shot in the end kicked the girl as she was going down. And then, so she's like, say here, she then turns round, steps about 3 steps forward, knife back and if you look at the angle, it was going to go into this girl's throat. So the copper pulls his service pistol out, 3 shots in there. Unfortunately, she dies. But then, like I said,
I have to admit, after like hearing everything and just processing it all, I have to admit that, you know, I never ever will say the phrase, "I'll never hit a woman." When I was younger, I used to say it, you know, I was probably raised to never raise my hand to a woman, and I get it. Now I'm fully grown. I will never be able to say that because I can justify it. If I'm out with my mum or my sister or my missus or anyone, and a woman raises their hand to any of them or even me, I'll smack her down, mate. I'm not even joking. I'll put her quickly down. And that's not me, like, you know, trying to say that I go around battering women. But if I was to then be judged for that, you know, I go and tell people, you don't know me. Don't judge me.
My mum was a heroin addict. So a lot of the stuff that she said, I didn't listen to. But one of the only bits of advice I took from her is if a woman hits you, hit her back. So if she can give it, she can receive it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying in a sense that, you know, I would like to say I'm a good person who are, you know, we all want to be who we are. It's not, I don't know the right words, but you want to be the best version of you. You're a good person, but in the wrong situation or in a situation where you can be portrayed to be bad, you know, and the media catch a glimpse, they will paint you in that light. And, you know, back to what you said.
This is what I'm saying, Jules. If you were out with your mum and a woman came towards your mum and tried to attack your mum. Yeah. And you reacted and protected your mum. In your eyes, you're protecting your mum. If we all saw that and we didn't know, Jules, what would our perceptions be? If that was videoed and put online, okay? Now, a lot of people would straight away jump on, he's a bad person, he's this, he's that. But we know you're a great person, Jules. So
what I'm getting at is that father who kicked the girl that you're talking about, Michael. You know, if I'm with my nieces, for example, and a girl in their school was trying to attack them, I can't just stand by and think, you know, oh, you know, handle it, cheer for or root for my niece. It's like I'm having a full-on fight. I'll just step in and drop her. I don't care.
You were saying, and I agree, but that instance, the father kicked the girl that had been stabbed. So that wasn't.
In the moment, I'm saying in the moment, sometimes the heat of the moment, the split second,
I get what you're saying, but if a girl just been stabbed, she was falling down onto the ground. She never threw any punches. She had just been stabbed. The one that had been stabbed got kicked in the head, not the other girl.
How would you believe the situation should have been handled, Michael? So let's say what happened has happened. Do you want justice for the girl that was stabbed, and you want justice for, you know, you want justice?
I think what happened was the best way it could have gone.
What happened?
The girl who had already stabbed someone was about to stab someone else, was shot. That's the only way it should have gone. If he hadn't have shot her, then another girl would have been stabbed in the throat. So her life would have been ended because you didn't finish. Unfortunately, you didn't end that girl's life. And they talked to shot in centre mass. So she was shot 3 times centre mass. And unfortunately, like quite a high number of people that get shot actually survive the shootings. Unfortunately, she didn't survive. But I totally agree with how it went. It was just unfortunate that it was a white copper, so then it got turned into a race.
I think how it played out in the media as well, because when I first heard about that particular incident, I didn't actually hear about the fact that she was stabbing. Didn't hear that. Just heard that she was shot.
And that's why we did that episode on facts matter.
Yeah,
I'll put the card in. Yeah, facts do matter.
Because I remember hearing that and they missed that bit out. So it was like, oh no, a teenage girl's been shot by the police and she's black, you know. But then when you go and dig a little deeper, you can find, oh, hold on, she just stabbed somebody. She was then about to stab somebody else. They intervened and stopped it.
And then you still get people saying.
But then again, that could have been. We don't know if she was being bullied. That could have. We don't know if she was schizophrenic. That could have been. Up until that point, she could have been a relatively civil citizen, you know, and then that happened.
Do you know anyone like famous people that's actually redeemed themselves, changed their lives around? Like, in regards to the title, how much good erases the bad?
What's his name? The bloke out of Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
he used to be in and out of rehab.
Yeah.
What a great film.
A bad person because he had addictions.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy was a heroin addict.
Tom Hardy, yes.
A bad person just because he had a heroin addiction.
No.
I'm not saying he was, but well.
Same as Russell Brand as well. Russell Brand used to be an addict and then he completely changed his life around, didn't he?
But then like they weren't drug dealers, they weren't causing harm to, you know, they weren't hurting other people, they're just hurting themselves. That doesn't make them bad people.
No, but also they could have stolen money, they could have stolen from people to aid their habit, you know, but doesn't mean, that's what I'm saying, it's because of the situation.
It's definitely a lot easier to earn a black mark on your name than it is to have like
to get rid of
such a good reputation. Yeah. Easier to get and harder to lose.
Mud sticks, as they say.
Depending on how much money you've got.
But it's like that
sorry, Jules.
Go on, Liz.
There you go.
It's like when you have a restaurant and your service is top notch, the best, and the food's the best and everything's great. You get these great reviews. Well, sometimes no reviews at all. People just like, yeah, went there, done that, whatever. But as soon as you do a mess up, as soon as something's bad, like the negative reviews, you're more likely to get a negative review than you are a good review.
Yeah.
So you could be like an upstanding citizen. You could be great. You could be mother flipping Tracer, who apparently wasn't that great, and Gandhi apparently. But you can be all that.
What's his name?
Winston Churchill. You could be seen to be a great person, but you know
Mandela,
the true story. Yeah, the true story is not that. Yeah. So it kind of works in reverse to what you're saying. You know, it's hard because if you find yourself in a situation like you had no other options other than to do illegal things to survive, you probably want out as quick as possible. But to get out isn't as easy as that. And then to be offered an opportunity to redeem yourself, like, you know, you can do better for yourself. If we are to keep in the mindset of, you know, how much good does that person need to do to be better? You know, what do they have to do? Or are they always going to be reminded of their past? Because if that be the case, people, you know, they won't want to. They'll be like, well, if I'm never going to be accepted, if I'm never going to be forgiven, or if I'm never going to be made to feel like what I'm doing now is the right thing, then what's the point? If you're going to keep bringing up the past.
Sometimes people feel like that when they've done something wrong, or if they've come out of prison or something, and that kind of deters them from moving forward because they assume that they're always going to be tarnished.
The media are very good at it. Like, you know, there's some people that are very good at it. If you're constantly bringing up people's pasts, you're not acknowledging them for who they currently are, who they are in the present, what they're doing, who they're trying to be. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. It's not even difficult. Maybe we should just
Caroline Flack, didn't they? They destroyed her.
What happened?
But then again, that was awful. She was trolled. She was, you know, because of the incident with her boyfriend, where she hit her boyfriend. She allegedly hit her boyfriend.
Yeah,
no one else
basically, the media basically twisted
jumped
it,
on it.
didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So she
And
had a row with her boyfriend. Some photos got leaked and there was lots of like blood in the photos. It went to court. I think he called the police or somebody called the police, and so he got arrested. She got arrested. It went to court. He wanted to drop the charges, but they wouldn't let him. I think it had gone too far.
CPS carried it forward to court. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, in the end she couldn't. She got taken off of her role as Love Island presenter. Got given to somebody else, and she basically felt like she'd lost her whole career. She got really depressed. She wasn't allowed to speak. Her boyfriend wanted to forgive her and be with her, but they weren't allowed to speak to each other by court order. And she couldn't cope with it all. She was told by her publicist not to leave her house, and in the end she killed herself. But then
She hung herself.
Yeah, it later transpired that the blood was her blood. She was self-harming. I think she had like borderline personality or something like that. And that it was her blood from self-harm. And it wasn't because she'd thrown something at him and made him bleed all over the room. It was hers. But it was the media that twisted it and basically destroyed her.
But then once that happened and she died, they all twisted. And there was the whole hashtag be kind, the whole poor her, you know, this is awful. The media shouldn't do this. Social media trolls should be banned. Hold on, most of the trolls on social media were the media. So that, you know, so again, and then everything's glorified because it took for her to die for them to actually acknowledge she was bloody human in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, why does it change when someone dies? That's the same with George Floyd. Had he have not died, would we be sitting here doing this call about this chat? Would it have just been he was arrested? We wouldn't have even heard about it. We wouldn't have even heard that he was arrested and detained for using a fake note or whatever it was. You know, we wouldn't have even known about it. And we wouldn't know about his past. We wouldn't also know that, you know, he's being made out to be this martyr and saint, and, you know, with regards to justice, we wouldn't. It's just, yeah.
So
does it matter then?
Like we mentioned in a previous episode with, is it Denzel Washington says, if you don't listen to the news, you're uninformed. If you listen to the news, you're misinformed.
You're misinformed.
It is difficult, especially now, but I love that we do have the internet and everyone's got access to the, you know, mobile phone and to speak their truth. You are now able to record whatever you want. You know, you've got the freedom. Everyone's got cameras. Everyone's now, you know, capable of speaking their truth. I guess what we need to do is acknowledge the media for what it is. It isn't always truth. And if it is, it's definitely shaped in a way to influence your thinking. And that's another reason why we do what we do here at the Elite Thinking Club, because you need to allow space to process and think. You know, deep, powerful conversations is what we do. We want to help people to just expand thinking, as if you was going to the gym and working the body muscles. The mind is just as important as to not be so easily swayed. I mean, yeah.
Well, I think the internet is really good. The problem is people don't do enough work with it. Like if they're told
people don't use it properly,
search for something, they normally read the first thing that comes up, and then whatever they see then, that is gospel.
Yeah.
So as long as you're good at making your search results come first, you can make anybody believe anything.
But that's where I think we should be taught, and it should be in the schools now. You know, kids should be taught to research and not just take the first thing you're told as gospel. You know, kids should be questioning things. We should all be questioning things all of the time. You know, that's part of a healthy mind.
It's a very fast-paced world that we live in now, especially with the need for just instant information, isn't it? So, and I definitely want to know what any viewers are thinking. Do we have any comments? And if you haven't done so already, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, support the channel. No more?
No, just Scott's ones. Yeah, that's all we've got at the moment.
It's a real deep one.
We're talking.
It's a deep one. It's a deep one.
Also, I was just going to say, Michael, it's really good actually, topic where you said about the good and the bad. The lady that was the victim, the pregnant lady, in that scenario that you told us about with one of the things that George was convicted of, the other side of it is, how do you think she felt when she saw all of that on the TV, and then all of this blow up, and he's being made out to be this person, you know, or this symbol for justice? That must have been a hard pill to swallow for her, because that's the other side of it. Do you see what I mean? So there's
Candice said, if you think about all the victims that he's done, like all the times he's armed robbery, sold drugs, all the victims that haven't got justice, and now his name is, I think the governor said, synonymous with justice. It's like, so that is basically shitting over everybody that he's wronged in the past. Like that 4-year-old that had to watch his mum gets pistol whipped, that she has to now, like, she must shit herself every time she answers the door. Because, yeah, I mean, it's one thing having a woman have that done to her, but a pregnant woman with her young son.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so she's probably sign of relief that he's no longer around, and it's a belated justice.
Yeah,
for her.
Like that. Like back to the funeral scenario. Don't get on the pulpit and start saying how good this guy was. Let that woman get on and tell the world what he really was. You're right. I make you right. I make you right. But back to the title. How much good erases the bad? You know, we're all capable of forgiveness. It's hard. Like I said before, I don't see myself forgiving someone who hurts anyone that I love. I'll stand in front of the jury. I'll tell them straight, I'll do it again. He put me in the same situation. And, you know, one day when the roles are, if you walked in my shoes, I'd like to know what you think about it. But we are all capable of forgiveness. It's just hard. You know, some things are just unforgivable. Some will say unforgivable, but
yeah, I mean, it's a little bit weird that because of the situation that how he died, he kind of gets like a forgiveness. Like when I mentioned before about Sean Reed, who shot at people's houses with not caring a world, and then when he died, he then got put on NFL jerseys and got honoured and all this other stuff. So because he was shot by a police officer, all is wrong. So maybe that's what it is. Like if you want to be a hero, whatever you do in life, as long as you're shot by a white copper, all your sins are forgiven. So don't worry about getting baptized now. Just get shot by a copper, and then
that's where I think that it's just all blown out of context. That's where I think that it's just it's not real for me when I see them. You know, we're doing this in honor of them. I just find you're doing it because,
in a weird way, justice is served for both. George Floyd's death, now I'm thinking about it, justice is served for both. That pregnant woman saw her traumatizer killed, so she's now had justice, and Black Lives Matter movement was created because of that, so now they're getting justice. In essence, maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it is done that way because it's serving, not saying that I'm, you know, justifying it. I'm just analyzing it. I'm looking at it from a perspective of, is everybody happy?
Yeah.
Like you're now being heard as a depressed people because of George Floyd's murder, like death, and all the people that he was a see you next Tuesday to. Yeah, you're getting justice. The guy's dead. The guy's been murdered. Are you happy now?
What about his daughter?
Well, she's gonna have to make peace with the fact of what her father truly was. If he was a good father, you know, biologically he is her father, but maybe he wasn't the role. I don't know. Wouldn't say a great role model. what definitely, sometimes I don't think before I speak, but I'll then just go with the thought anyway. What does definitely get to me, right, is you can make yourself a target if you so choose. I no longer dress the way I used to as an 18-year-old, 16-year-old boy. I don't speak the same, and I don't carry myself the same. And I don't put myself in situations that are likely to get me in trouble. I'm not saying it was the wrong place, wrong time, or unlucky, However, if you've got a flipping target on your back, if you're, known by the police and all that, just do yourself a favor. Keep low, avoid capture. Why are you going out? What are you doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, that day, he was known by the police. He was trying to spend fake money, and he was hooked up on fentanyl. So there wasn't much winning. Pardon?
I know a lot of friends.
What's fentanyl?
It's like ecstasy.
I know a lot.
Oh, okay.
I know a lot of friends who have turned their lives around because of their families and children. They no longer do the things they used to do because it's bigger than them. And if he isn't in a mindset that understands that, you say, what about his daughter? We should have thought about her before he put himself into that situation. Before, if you've got a daughter, think about your life, review yourself. You've got to sort yourself out, because clearly if you don't, you can see where your priorities are, where your selfishness is. And that's not me trying to tell people how to be parents. I'm just saying, if
No, you're right.
It's an opioid.
Mental. It's like cocaine as well. It's just a really strong drug.
It's an opiate pain medication. That's the thing though. There's this big pandemic in America where they give people pain medications for pain, and then they get them hooked onto them like opioids, and then next thing they know, they try to take them off cold turkey, they can't handle it, and they go for heroin. So it's like, are we blaming these people, or are we blaming the system?
Well, I do agree with that, but that wasn't what happened here.
I don't blame anyone for my life, and I'm just speaking my truth now. I have a choice to consume. I have a choice. I take full responsibility for what happens to me.
Yeah, but if you got into a car accident, and you were in severe pain, you're going to take the pain medication that they give you, that you're prescribed, because you trust your prescriber, you trust your doctor.
Yeah.
And that pain medication is fentanyl in America.
Yeah, it's a choice, Matt. It's a choice.
Which causes the addictions.
Yeah.
But that isn't what happened with George Floyd.
How do you know that?
No, but because he's got history selling cocaine and other drugs. So he took that because he got pulled over or stopped, and he didn't want to get caught with it on him because he would have gone back to prison.
Okay.
Some people do need help. Some people do need help. And the reason
some people don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why there's help there is
you don't get help unless you pay for it. If you're a drug addict, you don't have the money to pay for the support.
Then how'd you get money for drugs? How do you get money?
Another comment. We've got another comment from Scott that says, "Live by the sword, die by the sword."
Well, what's that mean? I'm confused.
It means if you're a criminal, and like if he had just surrendered and said, "Okay, you've got me," it wouldn't have escalated. But because he was trying to fight the police back.
What I think it means is, like, there's no double standards with karma. What you live by, you die by. You take, like I said, take full responsibility for it. It isn't like, oh, I can do this and then it doesn't happen to me. It's just, there's no bias with karma. You live by it, you'll die by it. So if you choose to live a life of good nature and positive and happy and friendly and civil, you're likely to die like that. But if you live a life of toxic, corrupt, and effed up, you're likely to die like that.
Yeah.
You know, you attract it. Your world, your mind shapes your world.
You are what you do, what you say, what you think.
Yeah. It's not who you are inside, it's what you do that defines you.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man. No, Batman. How dare I? Batman. Yeah, man. All right.
Well said, Jules. Another comment from Scott. Well said, Jules.
Scott's my guy today. Thanks for being on him. And no, we appreciate the comments. We actually do. So if anyone else has any other comments, honestly, if you're watching this back as well, not live, but watching it back, put the comments in. We still check them. We still read them. And
Scott is very matter of fact as well. When he put live by the sword, die by the sword, he actually inserted Matthew 26.82. So thank you, Matthew.
Oh, what is going on?
Oh, no, that's really good. That's brilliant.
It is good. Right.
Oh, we have another comment. Sorry, we're getting some comments pop up. Sorry. Luke Dre has said, "What we do in life echoes in eternity." Marcus Aurelius. Oh, I love Marcus Aurelius. Yes. Yes, Luke. Yes, that is right.
Did we get an answer? So how much good do I have to do so I can be an answer?
Michael, I think in essence what you're saying is like, if you want to be an asshole, if you want to live a life like that, it's your choice, you know, and there are people also have the choice to either forgive you or not. And that's where we find ourselves, right? The people that you're going to do good to will see you as the good, and the people you do bad to will see you as the bad. You obviously see George Floyd as bad, not because he's done any bad to you or done any good to you. You're just unbiased, but you've just weighed it up. And you have judgment, and everyone else has their own judgment. And I get it. I get it.
To me, if you put a pistol into a pregnant woman's stomach and be there when someone else pistol whips her, that is going over the edge for me.
And there you go. We'd love to know what you guys think at home and rewatching this episode. And before we close the episode, has anyone got anything else they want to add to what we've talked about tonight?
No, Luke Dre has just said, read his book. It's an amazing read. Marcus Aurelius.
As am I,
Thanks
Luke.
for the comments, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm reading his meditations at the moment. Well, I'm in between books, but yeah. Marcus Aurelius. Right. If you haven't done so already, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you do like what we talk about here at the Elite Thinking Club, support the channel. It means a lot to us, and share it. Yeah, 100%. If you haven't done so and you want to check it out as well, look at the merchandise. You can click the link in the description. But what a deep conversation. That's what I love about the Elite Thinking Club. We explore everything. So, sure, nothing else to add to the conversation, guys, before I close it? We all good?
I'm pretty good. I mean, I could reel them off for ages, but let's not go into a rabbit hole of people in the world that have done wrong.
All right. Okay, well, from me and the team, we'll see you on the next episode. But everyone everywhere, peace and love.
Peace and love. Bye.
Bye.